lobby side.
Alright.
Just watching.
Australia's
H.
history
This
is
is
like.
emo dude guy.
Oh, hey.
Emo dude guy. This is H. Oh, should we do trios or squads?
I mean, I like squads.
Okay, we'll see if we can get a fourth person. Yeah, that's really crazy. I was always just scared of the spiders in Australia.
I think like the reason that they're this way is because they're so far away from the rest of the world, and they've just lost their way. Like in New Zealand, where some of my family's from, like their traditional value is high. They value themselves, and so they haven't lost their way, and they're not insecure. They're very secure about themselves. They know their culture. They know the things they like. They know what they're looking for. But in Australia, they've lost their way. Like they don't really know what they are. They don't know what they're looking for, and they're just kind of bland. Like it's scary. And they're all like sad and depressed. And so many Australians are on antidepressants. So many Australians self-medicate. They're alcoholics. They're stoners. They do heroin, like whatever. Pick your poison.
Do you still have family in Australia?
Yeah, but I don't talk to them.
Oh, okay.
I got lots of family in Sac.
Say that again. Sorry.
I got lots of family in Sac in Cali.
Oh, okay.
So that's where my family is. So, but I don't know if I want to go there though, because you know Sac is pretty shitty. Like Sac is full of thugs and stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I want to go stay there. But I'd probably go visit my family there. Can you guys come help me try and... I'm supposed to ignite... Oh, we'll just go to Pleasant, fuck it.
Where were you?
I was gonna go... We'll do it later.
Somebody, our teammate, our newest one, or the M. Jeffers marked the Pleasant, so I was like, alright.
Yeah, all good. We'll go there. But yeah, so like, I'm past my tether with the strains these days. Like I said, I lash out now.
You're like ready to get the F out of there.
Oh man, I've been ready to get out of here since I was like 14, man. Like I went to Europe when I was 18 with my family and I didn't want to come back here. Europe is so much better. Like 100 times better. It sucks here so much.
So,
everyone's old, everyone's depressed, everyone's acting, everyone's fascist. You know, like you don't have a choice. And everyone here is always prejudiced and trying to shift the spotlight. I feel like Australians are afraid that if anyone looks at their history, they'll realize how fucked up it is. They try and gaslight Americans and American culture.
Are your parents still there?
No. My mother was terminally ill and she passed after like losing the battle with leukemia for over a long period of time. My father had a heart attack, heart murmur. I caught up with him.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I get used to it. I mean, it's worse if you lose your son or your daughter, you know? Losing your parents happens to all of us eventually.
Couldn't imagine. Oh yeah.
It was early. I mean, I've been through a lot of shit. Like, I've been on the streets.
Yeah.
There's no one here. Like, I got no backup plan. Like, if this falls through, I'm on the streets again. If I can't make ends meet here, where I'm at. So but the thing is, if I go to the States, you know, it's the same diff. So start all over again.
Yeah.
You know, I got nothing to lose. So.
Right.
I mean, I've given it a shot here, even though the Australians are a bunch of cunts. I've given this a shot. I've really, really given it a shot. Like, I tried to join the military last year. I did my aptitude test in October. They denied me entry to the military. They didn't even let me do my medical or my psychological or my physical test. They didn't even let me get that far.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, you know, I gave that a shot. You know, I did my aptitude test, and, you know, like, I stepped up. I manned up. Like, I applied for jobs all the fucking time. I've been at school, at college, trying to study. Just getting so much fucking flack. I got a full metal jacket in my chest, metaphorically.
Alright.
Full metal jacket is like a... like shrapnel from a grenade. Or is it like the hollow tip of a hollow point?
It's the jacketing on a round.
Yeah, a jacket on a round. Yeah, so wrong metaphor, but I gave it a shot. Fuck this place.
Yeah. Right? It's funny because all I hear is like Australia's beautiful, da da da, all this stuff.
Oh man,
Like, for me.
there's a curfew right now. 8 p.m. Can't be out past 8 p.m.
Really?
Yeah, they're like harassing old people, giving them fines for being outside. You're not allowed to go 5 kilometers out of your zone. We got like one person dying a day, which isn't much, from COVID, and they've fully gone old school. Like medieval on our ass. And you know what they're doing now in Australian media? They're showing footage of Jewish people having gatherings, because we're not allowed to have a gathering. And they're showing footage of Jewish people, and so now they're getting anti-Semitic. And it's just so fucking pathetic and sad. Like, they're just every shit thing that they could be doing right now, they're doing it. Like, states turning against state, they're talking about passports for either state. They've locked people in Australia, they've trapped everyone, no one can go overseas.
Wow.
Like, it's fucking crazy, man. And now they're forcing people to vaccinate. Just everything bad. It's just like hell.
Yeah, I haven't gotten vaccinated yet either.
The truth is that, like, freedom of speech isn't a law in Australia. It's actually not. You don't have the right.
Oh, okay.
Because this is a penal colony. So it's like for prisoners from England. So like I looked up the law, and freedom of speech and the right to peaceful protest are at the discretion of the police.
Oh, jeez.
So they just decide if they feel like letting you. And so they can just arrest. And so all these Australians, they don't know this. They think that like this is America for some reason.
Ah, no.
And
Shit.
so they're always getting apprehended when they're at a peaceful protest. And they're always like, why am I getting arrested? And it's like, dude, you're getting arrested because you don't have rights.
Right.
Because like I've been arrested by the police so many times. Unlawfully.
Right. That's scary.
Yeah, it's scary. Look, if you want to look up what's going on in Australia right now, it's like a dystopian science fiction novel right now. So right now, I just heard today they're thinking about doing facial recognition for people who break quarantine.
That's crazy.
Well, they're a fucking bunch of crazy assholes, if you ask me. They always were. And so now it's just they're getting exposed. See, the thing that Australians do is they act and they hide.
Right.
But now all their craziness is coming to the
We gotta
surface.
go. We've got to go.
Yeah. I'm already in the storm, but I got a couple of meds, so I should be good-ish.
I just had to take my medication today. I couldn't do a grenade, which is why I do not carry grenades. So I would make some bandages.
But yeah, so like Australia's version of being crazy is if you're not following their fascist ways. You're not doing exactly what they tell you. And it can be, when I say they, I mean like any random Australian. If you don't conform immediately to whatever crazy bullshit they believe, whatever left wing or right wing or whatever the fuck it is, just wing, then they gaslight you.
Oh shit, that's a bad idea.
And they say because you're not fascist,
There's people at risk, FYI.
that you're crazy. And it can be anything. It's like, oh, he doesn't like sport. Oh, he's not conforming. So you can imagine what it's like being an emo, maybe, non-conformist. They're all fascist as fuck. And it's even more annoying when they say they're not, because they fucking are. And they just don't know the meaning. They're so uneducated, they don't know the meaning of the word fascist. They don't realize they're being fascist.
Right.
And so, you know, because I'm emo, we're just automatically enemies pretty much. Already, in advance. Like me and most of the Australian people. And so it's just a war, and it's just a matter, it's like, you know, it's just a standoff. My life, basically just a standoff with every Australian ever. And most of them get uncomfortable. But I'm so used to it, I kind of revel in it. I revel in the fact that it's a standoff, that I'm holding my ground, and all I have to do is stand up for myself, and it's a standoff.
Alright.
It's like a Mexican standoff, but with finger guns. Awkward finger guns. Pew pew.
Pew pew.
Do you remember that? From like 2010? Everyone would just go around going pew pew.
I think it's
What?
from that one. There was a YouTube video or something. I'll have to find it. I don't remember where they did that.
Oh yeah,
I
is
got
that
a
like from
purple-
2010?
Yes.
Like old school YouTube?
Pew pew.
When we used to go around like reptile, rawr. I had a reptile shirt.
H, is there someone there? Are you fighting someone?
I still want to join the military as an officer, and I feel like I've got to pick a song. Like, you know how every officer has like one of those lame 80s songs they listen to?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking like which
Where's
one?
that? Oh, I see him. Oh, I'm getting you, you stupid
Any suggestions?
Got him. Damn, I don't know.
Like some 80s retro, like new wave or some shit.
Oh, sweet. He had a med kit.
I had one the other day, but I forgot it now.
I can't take the gold.
There's more people towards this one.
Uh-oh. Oh, this guy's a beast.
Oh shit, I didn't realize
How
that.
long did he take? Oh! Oh! I got knocked off the edge of the cliff. I'm down the bottom of the waterfall. Please.
Do you know?
Please, M. Jeffers. Please save me. Come on, M. Jeffers. Come on. Save me, M. Jeffers. Save me. Kill that guy. And save me. And kill that guy. Oh no, they got M. Jeffers.
Coming.
No, it's Ariana Grande. Oh. That's so fucked up. Getting killed by Ariana Grande. She's like a short, attractive Latina. I never liked her music that much,
Ooh,
but I
they
always thought she's pretty
moved.
hot. Probably pretty cool to hang out with. Seems pretty chill. And she just killed me.
Got her for 23. I'm going in H. Before he reboots his teammate, because he's going to... Shit. Got him for 36, and he did revive his teammate. Now there's 2 of them, and I'm alone. Fuck. Fuck, fuck, fuck. I've shot him a couple of times. Got him for 25 again.
Did you get his gun?
Almost got a shield. Huh? Did I get what? No, I'm
Did you
on
get his
my own.
gun?
No, I'm fighting 2 people. And I'm dead. I'm on my own. Now there's 4 people. There's 2 up there and 2 below. I actually have to get going, but it was nice meeting you, Emo, and nice playing with you guys. I'll be on later.
Take it easy.
Alright, later, Janet.
Bye.
Later. Yeah, so like usually in a country when the government is a dickhead, the people have a protest and the government has to change. But in Australia, have a protest, the government just crushes everybody, arrests everybody. They don't change anything. I mean, they might, but they don't have to. It's not like we really influence them. I mean, if you look it up, Amnesty International is an organization that deals with human rights, and they're making inquiries into Australia right now. And also the United Nations. The United Nations are also calling Australia out for their abuse of human rights. And now the World Health Organization, because of Australia forcing its people to have vaccines, it's difficult for women in Australia too. Just recently, all this stuff's coming to the surface recently. Recently, a girl in Tasmania was sexually harassed at work, and she went through the correct avenues to prosecute over sexual harassment. They said that she is a fuck doll, and she went through the correct avenues, and they dismissed her case, and they didn't even inform her. And so now she's gone public, and they're reviewing the case. Just because, so if she didn't go public, like so many other Australian women before her, you know, nothing. So Australians just get away with treating women like pieces of shit, and they go around acting all high and mighty like they give a fuck about women. That's why they piss me off. Like when an Australian says they give a fuck about women, I'm like, suck a dick, like, fuck off. All fucking pieces of shit. Like at one point or another, they've let it happen. They've let it continue. And to stand on your own and stand up against the sexism in Australia, you gotta be so strong. You gotta be so different. You gotta be like me. Total outsider. Total outcast. And so anybody who isn't like me, I already know that they have never done shit about it in their life. They've never stood up. Because it's like, it's a constant struggle. Like, if I decided tomorrow that I was gonna punch every Australian that treats women like shit, I basically have to punch every fucking Australian.
That's funny.
It's that fucked up, and I'm not exaggerating. They are fucked up people because it's a slave colony. Convict slaves. They used the convicts as slaves. Yeah, I can hear you. And so Australia today has a culture of possessiveness. Like, people aren't people, they're possessions. And treat the women like they're a fucking possession, and so they'll say things like, you know, she's a fuck doll or whatever. That's just the tip of the iceberg. And none of them are trying to stop it, man. They're all fucking adhering to it. They all love it. And if you stand up against it, you know, like I said, they're totally fascist. In Australia, there's only one way to be. There's only one way to talk. There's only one way to act. There's only one theology to believe in. You can't believe in anything else. Totally fascist. Yeah, I know. Trying to get him. He got me. And that way is to be sexist. And if you're not the way they want you to be, they gaslight you, say you're crazy. Which is in itself crazy, because psychology is a real thing. There's a real Bachelor of Science for psychology to be a doctor. And Australians just go around gaslighting each other and acting like they can just condemn someone for not adhering to whatever theology they've decided to adhere to, which you're supposed to somehow magically know. Which I'm confused as to what it is. What even is it? Like, is being Australian being retarded? Should I be more retarded? Will I fit in better? I'm not gonna lie, that kind of seems like which, if you ask me, man, they're just fucking horrible human beings all around. You know, they treat women like shit. A bunch of pigs. They're all sluts. They're possessive. They treat people like a possession. They don't treat people on their worth. Treat them on their value. Dog eat dog. Everyone's out for themselves. Everyone's sociopathic. Everyone's selfish. It's fucked up, man. It's nowhere you want to be. And just like recently, like seeing the anti-Semitism in the media, man. It's 2 times now that they've targeted Jewish people. And Jewish people are a persecuted subculture. And if they were not anti-Semitic, encouraging anti-Semitism, but they're so afraid, Australian people, they're acting out of fear, and they're just targeting whoever the fuck they can target. And they're like, okay, well, let's take a shot at the Jewish people. And the first time it happened, I was like, oh, okay. Now it's happened twice. I'm just like, fuck off. This is real anti-Semitism. Like, showing the media that Jewish people aren't following the quarantine and saying that they're putting us all at risk. That's not right. And I can see it for what it is. It's prejudice and it's fear, and it's just lashing out at a subculture, and it's anti-Semitic. And the true anti-Semitic nature of Australia is now coming out. They've always been this way. They've always been massively prejudiced to everybody, Jewish or anyone. And it's just coming out now. And they're bickering and they're fighting. A bunch of fucking coward fucks. I fucking get so sick of it. All of them. Cops, politicians. I don't understand. I don't understand how they put up with this. Like, how was somebody not assassinated these politicians? I don't understand. They're just like way over the line. But you know, Australia has always had like the people in a vice grip. You know, like they came here as a bunch of British Marines and convict slaves from England, and it's always been that way, and they've always just kept the convicts in line, and anyone who moves over here, anyone who immigrates over here, they're just subjected to the same kind of treatment. It's just complete, utter tyranny. I think it's the only Western country that's this fucked. And they talk shit about the States, and I'm just like, where do you get off? Oh yeah, that's what I said to that dude as well that I pinned to the ground. I'm like, you know what? You say fuck America, I was like, fuck Australia. I was like, fuck you. It's like, you have the most racist country in the whole fucking world, right here in Australia. I was like, look it up. I was like, fuck Australia, how does that feel? Like, you have the worst rights for native people than any country on the whole fucking planet. You're the worst. So don't preach to me about anti-racism and shit. I was like, you literally, in Australia, you have no law protecting the native people. The native people to you, by law, don't exist. And I was like, fuck you. Fuck Australia. And he didn't like it much. But what was he gonna do about it? Little bitch. He'd already started it. She said, that's another thing about Australians. Like, they just put me in a position of power immediately. Like, immediately I have a reason to fucking suck them around. Oh. Oh. I just shot a guy right as a UFO blasted him away. So he got knocked and then flew away. Yeah, like, not only, like, man, like, even staying indoors is difficult in Australia for me, personally. Get online on a fucking Australian server and they're just harassing me, man. Just bullying, discriminating, like all the shit that people talk about, say that it isn't cool. Basically, I guess you could just say that Australians are just uncool. They're just not hip with it. They're just not up to date. They're just a bunch of fucking dags. And anyone who is hip with it or up to date, they approach with extreme prejudice. Anyone who is individual or any subculture of any kind, you know, anyone who is in the hipster norm, they are extremely prejudiced, and they do everything and they just piss that person off. They just gaslight them, and then when they get upset, they say, "Oh, see, told you he was crazy," and it's all just to save face. And, you know, I hate the ones that do it, and I hate the ones that are subject to it, that go along with it, that are too stupid to realize, you know, what they're involved in. I just hate them all, man. I can fuck this fucking whole fucking place. You know, sometimes I think about how the government has just fucked over the people here so badly, and I think maybe they got an extra grind, same as me. Maybe that's why they fucking just let their people be so shitty. When things be so shitty to the people, like, they just hate each other so much. The politicians are just trying to make the people suffer. Sometimes I wonder if that's the case. And yeah, you know, they kind of are. You know, they kind of do have a culture of making people suffer. It's true. Because this is a penal colony, and they were convicts, and they used to torture them. You know? So it is true. Yeah, they do have a fucking... They are making their people suffer. It's their culture. It's what they're used to. They're like, oh, they're a bunch of convicts. They don't matter. So, like, the mentality is, like, no matter how good at life you get, you're still a convict. So you're never, you know, gonna be any good. And so yeah, so some Australians, I mean most Australians, like, you'll never be good in their eyes, no matter how hard you try, because there's no convicts anymore, but they still have this culture of like, you're not good enough, you're never good enough. So, you know, a lot of Australians are just depressed. They're just upset. They're just sad. They just get treated like shit, and a lot of Australians are just like, why? You know, a lot of Australians are here, they're second gen European, and they're not used to this kind of behavior, and it takes them by surprise, and they're just sad. They're just like, why? Sit here, not everyone analyzes it like the way I do. I've always kind of been an outsider, because I grew up with my great-grandfather, listening to him. So I had a very, very abstract, old-school version, and I realized young that I was different to everybody, and since then, I've been watching them, and I've been trying to figure them out. And so, like, I can explain it in a way that makes sense, what's going on here, but most Australians, they don't know what's going on. They just know that their life sucks, and everyone's horrible to them. They're always getting gaslighted. And they're subjected to a fascist society of sexism that they don't agree with. And they're just sad about it. And they just walk around like big fucking losers, man. And they're too uneducated to know, like, even what's going on. Like, what's up with it? Oh, you were so dead? Just stay right there. Stay right there. Yeah. Take it, Wonder Woman. Yeah. You got eliminated. That's right. Give me this. And then these. No, I'm not a doctor. Man, I got like an extra grind with like every one of these fucks. And it's like they can sense it nowadays. It's like I just go to a strange place and they can just sense it. And you know, they just lash out. Like they can't even keep it civil, man. Like, yeah, I got an axe to grind. I got a chip on my shoulder, but you don't see me fucking lashing out. I might talk about it. Yeah, nice. Go team. But yeah, like everything that Australians say, it really pisses me off how they've always just been full of shit, and I was gullible enough to believe they're bullshit. Like when they talk about teamwork, they're so selfish. I spent so much money on friends and watched them just sit there when I was hungry, I had no money, sit there, eat food in front of me, and not even offer me one fucking bit of it. Because I was just like, would they offer me some? Because I bought them, and this is people who I bought stuff for specifically. I've wasted a fair bit of money on these specific people. And talk about being a team player, and they don't know the meaning of fucking the word team. I think maybe they should teach in Australian schools the dictionary definition of what a team is. Because they don't seem to fucking understand. And you could say like, oh, it's just these guys or it's just those guys. It's all of them. They're all like this, man. There's no other way to be. They're all fascists. There's only one way to be. They're all the fucking same. Well, I don't know, I guess, you know, probably the whole world's like that, you know, like you give someone money and they despise you for it. You get someone's back and they hate you. Stand up for them and they despise you.